Oh my God. Look at this. Oh, it's so good. He's going to come in. He's going to be wearing a hat. He's got to be wearing a hat, and the hat will blow off. It's going to be great. He's got to be wearing it. I'm calling hat. Yep, there we go. He's not going to subject that dude to the wind. Are you crazy? Iowa welcomes President Trump. Yes, it does. Look at this. Oh, it's cold. I've got gloves on and a jacket. Yeah, he's got a long coat on. The wind is fucked up. He's going to bitch about this. He does not want to be in Iowa saving Chuck Grassley's ass in the middle. Yeah, he's got the hat is stapled to his head. He's got one of those tubes that they used to install snaps on people's heads. Do you ever see that shit? People actually had like button snaps sewn into their fucking scalp so that would hold their tube on. He's got one of those, and so the hat is attached to the snaps. Oh yeah, total. He's wearing gloves and all this stuff. Oh, and the cameras are on autofocus and auto track. This is quality entertainment. Hey you. Oh boy, it's a lump a dump. This is just stupid. What am I doing here? And then it's gonna. Does he not? Yeah, he's just gonna wander around like country Hitler. You know, this whole like. Just let the song play out. I had this deal. I don't have to pay Lee Greenwood anything if I let him play the whole song out to the end. And so, just gonna wander past the podium like this. Clap. Hey, look at the people in this. Well, I'd like to welcome the true patriots of Iowa. And here they are, squirt, squirt. And hey, there's you, point, point. Finger in your butthole. Here we go. God help us. If I ditch out on this, I'm fine. Free. That's it. All right. Yay, so exciting.
Wow. Thank you very much. And
wow.
I want to just say it's cold out here, but not that bad.
It's like bitches right out of the gate.
And it's a little windy. I said, do you think I need a hat? They said, you might be better off with a hat. Mm-hmm. I wanted to show you this beautiful hair tonight, but what the hell? I'll show it. I'll get it. I'll lift that hat up sometime. But I want to just thank everybody. And hello to Sioux City. It's been fantastic. We were here a long time ago, and it started things off. And we've had some fun making our country great again. And then, unfortunately, we had a road.
What? People are wearing green hats behind him. Is this a Christmas thing?
Block with this character, these people that are there now. It's a disgrace. What
disgrace? Don't drink every time he says disgrace. You're gonna die of alcohol poisoning within the first half hour.
Happened to our country, but I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Iowa with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots.
He says that at the top of volume. And I appreciate the big gap of people right over here. At some point, I will tell the press to turn around and point at everyone, show the giant crowd and all the people waiting outside. Don't do it.
Just 5 days from now, the people of Iowa are going to re-elect a legendary senator. He's a legend, you know.
In his own mind.
Chuck Grassley.
I am so glad to be here. I'm Chuck Grassley. Nice to see you.
First time I met him, he said, what do you know about politics? I said, man, this guy's tough.
Yeah, those are the hard questions. What do you know about politics? What do you know about politics? What was the emphasis on it? Was it on what or you?
No, he's the greatest. I'll tell you, he's become a great friend of mine. He's like no other. Chuck?
Yes, he's like some others, mostly character actors in old Disney cartoons. Why, good night, how are you?
Grassley. So get him in there. I think he's not going to have a problem, but now I know after this tonight, he's not going to have a problem. And also, you're going to re-elect one of the great governors in our country, Kim Reynolds, as your representative governor.
That dude is way too excited about the governor.
She's been incredible. Everything she does, it just works. And you're going to vote for an incredible slate of true America First Republicans up and down the ballot. And we're going to end crazy Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all. Right?
Why would you cover that guy's face? He's so excited to be there. And then you throw a save. Oh, I see. Green is farmers for Trump. It's an Iowa thing.
Right, Jeff? Jeff. Oh, you're the greatest.
Yeah, Jeff. Jeff, what's your name? Hey, Jeff. Good job, Jeff. Fucking Jeff, am I right?
What a job you do. Get ready for the White House, Jeff. Under Biden, Pelosi, Schumer, and the radical Democrat Congress, the Iowa way of life is under siege.
What do you mean, Michael, what do you mean who? Jeff. It's fucking Jeff. Jeff is going to be the next vice president under the whoever runs with DeSantis. Good old Jeff.
And it is a great way of life, a beautiful way of life. Biden and the far-left lunatics are waging war on Iowa farmers, crushing American energy, attacking Iowa ethanol, and strangling Iowa families with soaring prices. And there's never been a president better to, really, I think I can say to any of these great people, is that right, Eric?
What? Finish the thought before you ask them whether they agree with it. No one trusts you.
There has never been a president that has been better to the farmers or better to Iowa than Trump. Okay, that I can tell you, right?
Why? Because you paid them a socialist wage because you were fucking with trade?
Inflation is costing.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor, Jeff/Green 2024. Exactly, Gary.
The typical Iowa household, $700 every single month. Think of it. $700 inflation. You had no inflation with us. You had no problems with it.
You had no business. You had no downtown.
Anything, frankly. The southern border is wide open. Millions of illegal aliens are pouring in, a level that nobody's ever seen before, and I think that includes any other country. Violent crime is out of control. The far left is indoctrinating our children with twisted race and gender lunacy in our schools. And just moments ago, a radical left lunatic judge in New York City who is totally controlled by my worst enemies in the Democrat Party and by the New York Attorney General. There's another beauty, who was given his position by them at the request of the out-of-control Attorney General, who's let violent crime in New York rage in the state, including murders, robberies, rape, and drugs at levels never seen before.
Also, not even fucking close to true. You can talk about rising crime and how you would deal with it without pretending it's fucking 1970s during the middle of the fucking Son of Sam murders.
Started a process of property confiscation that is akin to Venezuela, Cuba, or the old Soviet Union.
Why? Because you're going to have to pay fines?
It's communism, what's going on in our country. They're weaponizing the Justice Department
to create communism.
They've weaponized things that were not supposed to be weaponized.
Well, you don't have to tell me. They have weaponized things that were not supposed to be weaponized, which is, technically speaking, that's true of anything you weaponize, because if it didn't start out as a weapon, it's not supposed to be a weapon.
Companies are already fleeing New York, as you probably read. You don't have to worry about it here, that I can tell you.
Yes, you don't have to worry about New York companies fleeing Iowa.
But now they will be leaving even faster. What they're doing in New York is unbelievably sad.
Well, no one left faster than you, and you took for fucking ever.
And it's all coming from Washington, D.C. You know that. There's
New York. So sort of a bank. It's like bumper pool. D.C. hits New York. Bank shot into Iowa. Gotcha.
Only one choice to end this madness. If you support the decline and fall of America, then vote for the radical left Democrats. It's very simple. And if you want to stop destruction, save our country, and save the American dream, then this Tuesday you must vote Republican in a giant red wave. Giant red wave.
Yeah, just say it twice. That it's like Candyman. Just say it. You know, if you say it one, you only said it twice. If you say it a third time, maybe it'll appear behind you. Is that his giant red wave? Wave. I waved. It says wave, so I just That's how it works. Words, they're in the thing, and then they hit my brain, and I react to them. So I've got a red hat on. I wave.
There's no more urgent task for our future of our country than to stop the invasion. And that's what it is. This is like a military invasion. Many of these people are coming out of jails from other countries. They're dumping their prisoners into the United States.
No, they're not. And by the way, every time, let's see if we can find this. Well, maybe they are, but I want to know what they were. Hold on. Where is it? This guy? Yeah. I want to know what they were charging these folks with. What crime were these folks? Yeah. What prison did this lady get out of? What prison was this kid in? And by the way, if they're fleeing countries where they're putting kids this age in prison, not like youth programs because of their violent offenders, prison, he's saying. They're dumping out their prisons, and this is who is showing up. I'm saying as Americans, we have a responsibility to allow that I would clear their asylum claim if they were dumped out of prison and allowed to come here. Fucking A right, they can come in. What the fuck's the matter with you?
But we're going to stop it, and we stopped it once. We're the greatest border, the safest border in the history of our country. We're going to have to do it again. You know that, right? We're going to have to do it again. It was just revealed.
Yeah, he's not going to do it again. He keeps saying we're going to have to do it again because he's not going to run.
That this September set yet another all-time record high in illegal border crossings with 250,000 illegal alien migrants.
Alien? What the fuck word was that?
That this September set yet another all-time record high in illegal border crossings with 250,000 illegal alien migrants.
Alien migrants. They're both ailing and partly alligators. They're alien.
Trespassing. They just trespassed right across our border.
They're just wanton trespassers.
1 month. We've never had numbers like this, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We set every record during the summer, and that's very hot. They really come in during the fall, during the winter. You're going to see numbers that you've never seen.
No, they don't.
I believe you're going to have 10 million people, at least.
At least.
2 years ago.
Boo! 10. Look at this guy giving the big thumbs down. They picked right. These two guys are a sitcom waiting to happen. Of course, this guy drove them there, and they're never going to make it home. You guys just lay down in the back of the truck. You'll be fine. Yeah, no, hey, man, I'm a massage therapist. I'm going to give you a little shiatsu. I only got 10 fingers. If you feel 11, just get up and run. That's my good old Chris Bono. It's one of my favorite Chris Bono jokes. I'm a massage therapist. Just lay down on the table, take off your clothes. I'm going to give you a massage, you shiatsu and deep tissue. I only got 10 fingers. If you feel 11, just get up and run. Get out of here now.
Yeah, we did. And we built the wall, and then we added more. And by the way, 2.5 years they stopped with legal, and we won it all, and we got it built. And that's why we had the best numbers in the history of our country.
But then when the wall was finished, which it wasn't, but it was, the border's gotten worse than ever. The fuck is the wall for?
2 years ago.
By the way, in the building of the wall, because of the nature of it, they had to build more access roads, which made more traversable land at the southern border than at any time in history, which is why more people have places to cross.
We had the strongest southern border in American history. Now it's the worst border, I believe, in the world, because I don't believe that any third world country would
Right, because they would open fire on women and children. Right, that's not a dump.
Allow to happen what's happening to us. I don't believe that. And there's Uncle Sam. Stand up, please, Uncle Sam.
Right. It's all just wherever your brain goes, just run with it. You know what I mean? It's like, whose line is it anyways? And it's always Trump's.
It's the greatest. He's that great, and he's the real deal. You know, he follows me around.
Yes, we know. You got a lot of repeaters in the audience. And even still, little dry back there. I think the people at RSBN are fucking with you.
And I like him. And he's central casting. You are a handsome Uncle Sam, I'll tell you.
All right.
Thank you very much. He's great. Great guy. Great patriot. Biden, Pelosi, and the radical Democrats
Based on what? Because he plays dress-up cosplay at your rallies?
spend all their time obsessing over the borders of distant foreign nations that many people here have never even heard of.
Yeah, a lot of people there have never heard of Ukraine. You didn't talk about it non-fucking stop.
And Americans deserve to have a Congress and a president who will protect our borders of our nation, right? Don't you think? We deserve a government that will defend our sovereignty, secure our land, stand up for our families, and protect the people of our country. It's called, very simply, America First. We want America to come first.
Right, and if you watch how he dances, he wants to come on his hair and his eyebrows and his jaw and his tie. It's American bukkake first.
This year, more Americans will die of fentanyl and drug overdose than the number of Ukrainians killed in the gruesome and bloody war that, by the way, would have never happened. What a horrible thing is going on over there. Yet Biden and the radical Democrats.
First of all, you mean the Ukrainians will die of fentanyl or just in the war in general? Secondly, they've lost like 200,000 people. If you count civilians, not military deaths, civilians.
Democrats do nothing at all to stop the death and devastation caused by this invasion into our country.
Yeah, they do. They're arresting a shit ton of people.
Since the end of the Trump administration, the drug cartels have seen their revenue skyrocket by an astounding 2,500%. Would you say that's a lot?
Wait, back up. I was reading and I didn't. Who?
America First. We want a number of Ukrainians killed in the gruesome and bloody war that, by the way, would have never happened. What a horrible thing is going on over there. Yet.
Yeah, he's upset because the Russians are losing.
Biden and the radical Democrats do nothing at all to stop the death and devastation caused by this invasion into our country. Since the end of the Trump administration, the drug cartels have seen their revenue skyrocket by an astounding 2,500%. Would you say that's a lot?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, you mean since COVID, when everything was shut down, even for fucking drug dealers?
From $500 million a year, and we were bringing it down. We had the best years in 31 years on stopping drugs, stopping human trafficking, and all other things.
No, you didn't. COVID did.
But they went up 2,500%, and it's...
Everything went up 2,000% from the bottom. This motherfucker thinks that if you're 6 feet tall and you climb out of a 10-foot hole, you've grown 4 feet. You are now 4 feet taller than you were. Better duck your head when you're going through a door.
It's now a $13 billion a year industry. Can you believe it? It's like an industry.
It is. It's kind of like an industry. I mean, they have factories and distribution and that kind of stuff. And drugs were never like that before.
The choice this election is very simple. Democrats will defund the police. Republicans will defund the cartels. And we were doing that.
No, you weren't. And you'll beat police officers. We've seen you do it.
Under my leadership, we waged war on the cartels. We ended catch and release. We stopped asylum fraud, and we threw illegal.
Yeah, by the way, you can't say you stopped asylum fraud when you were stopping asylum claims entirely, because if you stop all asylum claims that are legit, you're obviously going to catch the fraud, but you don't get points for that because you're denying people who actually have genuine asylum claims. There is a myriad of analogies, some of them untoward. I will skip past them and continue.
Illegal alien gang members out of our country by the tens of thousands, and we got their countries to accept them. They wouldn't take them under the previous administration. We got
I mean, we've covered this lie so many fucking times.
them to accept. I said, how much do we pay those countries? 3 countries. You know the countries.
Tell us. We know, but you tell us. We want to know that you know.
Sir, it's $750 million a year. I said, tell them we're not paying them anymore unless they take them back. And they said, sir, we'd love to take them back. Nobody's ever asked us quite that way. Not quite that way. We built hundreds of miles of border wall, and despite 2.5 years of Democrat lawsuits to stop it,
Well, yeah, Democrats did not want Donald Trump to be the first president since the 1800s to give American territory to Mexico.
won all of them, and we got it built. We completely finished our original plan and then added much more wall and almost...
This is this, by the way, I mean, we brought this up a couple of times, but I'd like to, this is in line with like a series of lies. This is like a collect all 5 form of lying that he's doing, which is, I was going to get us out of Afghanistan with dignity and respect, but we were going to stay in Afghanistan. Now it's, I finished the wall, but there was still more wall I wanted to do because it was finished, but I was going to finish more than I finished.
Almost got that finished too. 3 weeks they could have had it finished. In 3
By the way, I guess 3 weeks is the new time limit.
weeks, think of it, could have been completed, and that's when I realized something's wrong, because they didn't want to do it. I said, what is going on?
Well, Mexico was supposed to pay for it, and they didn't want to have to write a check for it. And you said, you promised, you ran on Mexico paying. Who's going to pay for it? Mexico, 100%. That was his call and answer segment. Turned out to be bullshit.
Thanks to the open borders policies of the radical Democrats, every day American communities suffer the spilling of innocent blood and the killing of innocent life. Earlier this year, an illegal alien criminal was sentenced for brutally stabbing to death a 33-year-old man and leaving his body in a hotel room in Cedar Rapids. Beautiful Cedar Rapids.
Beautiful Cedar Rapids. Also, shitty mic quality. Hang on one second. Here you go. Honduran man, Victorio Diaz Barrera. This is what he's talking about. And of course, you know, this is what, okay. Honduran man convicted in fatal stabbing at hotel. After serving a 10-year Iowa sentence, he will be deported. So the plan in Iowa is to give this guy 3 hots and a cot for a decade and then deport him. Sister of Cedar Rapids man fatally stabbed by a Honduran man last year said Monday that her brother died. It was one of the worst days of her life. Since they told me the bad news that he was killed, ever since that day, my life hasn't been the same because they took my only brother that cared about me. Belicia Velazquez Huerta said in a written victim impact statement that was submitted to the court for the sentencing of Victoriano Diaz Barrera. Velazquez Huerta said her brother, Victor Huerta, has always made happy despite his own problems. He was always joked, made her laugh. Okay, now he isn't there. I've fallen into strong depression. Diaz Barrera, 40, originally was charged with first-degree murder, going armed with an intent and assault while displaying a dangerous weapon. He pleaded guilty Monday to a lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Through a court interpreter, Diaz Barrera, during the plea hearing, admitted to stabbing and killing Huerta, 33, last year, as the result of a sudden, violent, and irresistible passion resulting from being provoked. According to a criminal complaint, witnesses said Huerta and Diaz Barrera were in an argument April 4th, 2021, in a room at the Residence Inn, 1900 Dodge Road, Northeast in Cedar Rapids. The argument escalated when Diaz Barrera armed himself with a knife and plunged his knife into Huerta's chest, causing his death. The first responders attempted to help Huerta, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Yeah, I guess. Police said several people were in the hotel room at the time of the stabbing. One of them, 29-year-old Anthony Diaz, was wanted for murder in Texas. Diaz Barrera, during the sentencing, said through an interpreter that his intention was to defend himself. He didn't want to kill Huerta. Todd Weimer, Diaz Barrera's lawyer, said he believed this man was an impassioned moment during an altercation, and his client didn't have the time to step back and think about what was happening. After his plea, he'll be deported. He left Honduras to get away from the violence, ironically. and wanted to come to this country to work hard and provide for his family. First assistant attorney said the prosecution didn't take the plea agreement lightly. It's the result in light of facts and circumstances of the case. So they pled him down because there's a bunch of funky shit going on in that hotel room, and there was an argument going on, and there's an argument about the witnesses and whether they're trustworthy and who started the fight and blah, blah, blah. And then, okay, but what Trump wants you to think is that an illegal immigrant, apropos of nothing, came to a hotel room and stabbed an American just because he was jealous.
We have great memories of Cedar Rapids, but that's a real bad thing. Real.
Thanks, man. Thanks. That's I like it. It's the poetry that I appreciate. It's just this depth of caring and understanding. He can't even talk about a dude being fucking stabbed to death in Cedar Rapids without bringing up that we did great in Cedar Rapids. We have a lot of good memories because they voted for me. Fucking hell.
Really bad. In the sanctuary city of Chicago, an illegal alien was recently arrested for savagely shooting an innocent 41-year-old father in the head at point blank range and didn't think anything of it, like nothing happened.
Oh my God. Someone was so shocked that it blew one of the flags off. Do you guys hear the flagpole bouncing? Everybody's looking at it. Some big pole just fell.
And just weeks ago, an illegal alien was sentenced for stabbing a New York City police officer in the neck and stealing his gun to shoot other police officers, which he did. He went on a rampage. When Republicans retake control of Congress,
there will be no more illegal aliens ever, even though the dude, let's see, when did Barrera, let's see, Victoriano Diaz Barrera, when did he enter the country? That would be the... let's see, we got an argument, because it doesn't say when he got in the country. He was arrested, faced a charge of first-degree murder. Police said several other people in the hotel, one of them 20-year-old Anthony Diaz, who was wanted for murder, so when they came to the scene, they arrested this dude who had a warrant for murder, who was hanging out. It doesn't say when Victoriano Diaz Barrera came to the country, so I'm just going to, until information points another way, I'm just going to assume, since we're making giant waving assumptions here, that it happened during Trump, and I'm sticking to that until he can prove otherwise.
must immediately force...
By the way, every single one of the illegal aliens that he cites in this all entered the country during his term. Just saying. Prove me wrong.
The restoration of every single Trump border security measure that achieved the strongest border.
Yes, including COVID. We got to rescind vaccination and make sure.
In the history of our country by far. Right?
Right? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Instead of doubling the number of IRS agents, we should double the number of ICE and Border Patrol agents.
That would be a budget question for Mitch McConnell, who you said don't increase the debt ceiling. So, impossible. You're welcome.
Those are great.
By the way, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way that you can. I'm going through this whole thing. I'm hunkering in. You don't have to stick around. We normally don't have to cover all this shit. So I'm just going to... Fuck it. Let's do it. Oh, and I've got it. My window is... because I have a new camera here. Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Go back to here. I was going to do the giant screen, but you don't need that. You don't need that in your life.
Great people, Border Patrol, ICE, and they don't get the kind of respect, and neither does law enforcement.
Especially during things like January 6th.
Have to give law enforcement back what they do. They do it better than anybody else.
Yes, give back law enforcement what they do.
Let's give them the respect that they deserve. These are incredible.
We do. We respect law enforcement that do their job, and we don't respect the Derek Chauvins of the world. That's how respect actually works.
People, I met a lot of them backstage, and they're very thankful.
How did they show their gratitude?
I get every one of them to endorse us. They know exactly what's going on, and we were doing things on crime that nobody thought were possible. But
That's true. Nobody thought that level of crime would come out of the White House since Nixon got booted.
we're going to have to think about doing it again very shortly, aren't we, huh? We should pass legislation to deport every illegal alien that Joe Biden is unlawfully allowed to break into our country. And we're going to make America great again.
Because there's not a law already to deport people who come into the country illegally?
We first have to
Yeah, the quality of this audio is top notch.
make America safe again.
So true. It's in my thing. Shouldn't that be at the end? Am I done already?
You can't walk down a sidewalk in Chicago, get hit over the head with a baseball bat from behind and say, gee, we live in a wonderful place. And that's
Well, no, obviously, because you'd be unconscious. Secondly, you can walk down. People in Iowa go to Chicago with some regularity. I'm just saying.
That's what's happening. People, you see, they're being shoved into subway trains coming along 40 miles an hour. Boom. A man shoved right into the train. These people, it's a horrible, horrible thing. Nobody.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing when someone gets shoved in front of a train. Those aren't illegal immigrants doing that.
Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening now.
Those aren't immigrants of any sort doing that.
Nobody's ever seen it because they're not respecting law and order.
Well, I wonder, I guess fish stinks from the head, and this shit started when you were in office, so.
With our police, when we give them back their tools, and you know what the tools are? It's up here. The tools is nobody can do it better than them.
Wait, we took their brains away? What kind of Wizard of Oz horse shit?
You'll have law and order again. You'll have respect. You have to respect the police. Right now, if a policeman speaks a little bit loudly, he loses his family, he loses his house, he loses his pension. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're going to get rid of the thing that isn't fucking happening. Yeah, cops aren't allowed to shout, apparently.
We're not doing that anymore.
No, we're not. We're not going to fire. We're going to only hire police officers from NPR now. Everyone will just, good afternoon. We are here to serve a warrant right after this word from our sponsor, Gut Milk.
Radical left Democrats, the streets of our cities are ruled by bloodthirsty gangs and violent criminals.
Yeah, I can't go anywhere. It's terrible. Have you guys been outside lately? It's a fucking hellscape. It looks like the first 2 minutes of Terminator.
Much of the crime wave is caused by drug dealers who, during the course of their lives,
I thought it was illegal immigrants. I mean, you've cited immigrants who've murdered 3 people in the country, in a country of 340 million people, by the way. And you've cited 3 people. So what would you say to, like, randomly, just for balance, bring up some locals who did some murdering? Let's see. Cedar. How about this dude? Why don't you bring this dude up? Trial for Cedar Rapids man accused of killing his family could be delayed. You know, justice delayed is justice denied. Lawyers may have a scheduling conflict with another murder case. All right. Lawyers for 21-year-old Cedar Rapids man accused in the slaying of his parents and sister last year may ask the court for a new trial date because of scheduling conflicts. The trial for Alexander Ken Jackson, a former University of Iowa student, was scheduled on September 20th, but one of his lawyers and a prosecutor in the case have a conflict with another murder trial that was just reset to September 20th because the defendant demanded a speedy trial. Tyler Johnstone, one of Jackson's lawyers, asked the 6th Judicial District Chief Lars Anderson if he could adjust dates or assign a different judge for the other murder trial so Jackson's trial could remain in September. Johnson says he's still set up depositions in Jackson's case and may still ask for a delay. Anderson denied the defense's request to move the trial out of Lynn County because of extensive pretrial publicity. He ruled the media coverage hasn't been pervasive and inflammatory, as the defense argued. Jackson is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of killing his father. By the way, the illegal immigrant, so said, that he cited, which was in a room full of dudes where a fight broke out and the guy stabbed the other guy, and there was another murderer in the room at the time. That's what he brings up, that a bunch of sort of murderous dudes hang out. No, the victim in this case, innocent, did not deserve to die, but certainly not a situation likened to this one, which Trump strangely isn't bringing up, which just fucking happened. Charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of killing his father, Jan Jackson, his mother, Melissa Jackson, and his sister, Sabrina Jackson, 19. Police were called 8:30 a.m., June 15, 2021, to the Jackson home and found the 3 family members had been fatally shot, according to the criminal complaint. Jackson, then 20, told police he had been awakened by gunfire and was shot in the foot as he struggled over a rifle with a masked intruder. Investigators found no evidence of forced entry. They discovered a .22 caliber Browning semi-automatic rifle in the home the police think is the murder weapon. Jackson said he and his father had left it on the fireplace after cleaning it the night before. Here you go. Teen accused of killing teacher struggled in her class, mom says. Iowa City man sentenced to 22 years for sex trafficking. This isn't... Okay, an Iowa City man who's convicted of recruiting several women for sex trafficking and being a felon in possession of a firearm was sentenced last week to 22 years in federal prison. Kachimbe Mukanzu, 35, a native of Zambia, was indicted on 14 counts. Previously pleaded in U.S. District Court to 2 counts of conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, 2 counts of felon in possession of a firearm, and 1 count of sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. Known as Cash. Oh, I can see why he didn't bring him up. This is the same nickname as one of Trump's favorite dudes. Met a woman named Sienna Ellen Cabbage, also known as Nellie Cabbage, then a college student on a dating app, started a relationship, later lived together, taught her how to use an escort website, and then Backpage.com and other sites to set up profiles for the victims. Advertised sex acts provide the victims with drugs so they could work round the clock. Jesus Christ. So, so I don't know why he didn't bring up those dudes.
Will kill an average of 500.
Oh, this is the drug dealers will kill an average of 500 people, which is not even fucking close to true. Like coke dealers or heroin dealers, you could make an argument that their body count can be fairly high. Meth dealers, for example. But weed dealers are going to blow a hole in this fucking average every time.
American citizens. So you have a drug dealer, he or she, over the course of their life, they'll kill 500 people with drugs. And I'm calling for the death penalty.
By that, they're extrapolating that to somebody's on drugs who murders somebody else, somebody who dies of a drug overdose, somebody who dies prematurely because they were a drug user and therefore shortened their life. This is such a fucking reach. Yeah, totally, Karma. Well said. Nowhere does he bring up, I don't know, the fucking Sackler family, Purdue Pharmaceuticals. You want to talk about a death count? This motherfucker would hang with those guys in a heartbeat.
For drug dealers and human traffickers, which will, upon its passage, reduce drug distribution.
Oh, this is the death penalty.
And crime, the first day, by 75%.
Again, nonsense.
Crime will go down. Because so much of our crime is caused by these people. You go to places like China and many...
Oh, motherfucker. If he goes into, do you have drug problem? No, no have drug problem.
Many. I don't want to get into it because...
Yeah, don't tell the story again. We've heard it.
I don't want to be too controversial, but you go to China, you go to Singapore, you go to...
No, you don't. None of these fucking people go to China or Singapore. I've been to China. I haven't been to Singapore, but not because I wouldn't.
In many countries where they have the death penalty, they have no drug problem whatsoever.
Yes, they do. They have a drug problem in spite of the death penalty. That's the most shocking part. They'll kill people for dealing drugs, even if they're innocent. Too late. Sorry. No take backsies.
Drug dealer says, no, let's go to the United States, a much nicer way to live. No, we have to do it.
Yeah, no, we're not importing drug dealers because they like to deal drugs because it's just their It's like a hobby that they've turned into a vocation. And this is this is a land of milk and honey and opportunity for anybody, any young entrepreneur. If your thing is dealing drugs, this is the place to come do it. Motherfucker, they come here and get a real job. They deal drugs in those countries because it's an easy way to make money and stay where they are.
Not that we want to do it. Nobody wants to talk about that. But if we're going to have a country, we're going to have to do it.
First of all, if you don't want to do it, don't bring it up or say you're going to pass a bill. What the fuck are you talking about?
We have no choice. With the Republic,
we have no choice but to make dealing drugs a capital offense at every level. So weed dealers, anybody. So Tim Allen, but for like the passage of time, would be fucking dead right now.
Republican Congress, we must also pass critical funding to hire thousands more police officers nationwide to put.
You're already late. Biden's already okayed $100,000, the funding for 100,000 more police.
Put violent criminals behind bars and to keep them behind bars. And I see all those incredible people back there. Are they allowed to move up here in front of the fake news? I mean, there's thousands of people. Can they be allowed? Come on.
Yeah, fill in the empty areas in the audience. Why are you guys behind the racks? Like, he's basically pointing out the fact that the area in front of him has a lot of gaps in it, and the people milling about bored in the background, now they all have to jam in.
Look at all of them. They go so far you can't even see. And
yeah, you can't even see them because they're not there.
And, you know, I think they could let some people up here. In fact, it'll make you a little bit warmer, you know. You'll be a little closer together. If they can,
stop panning,
and I see some great police officers back. If they could, let those people come forward. It would be great.
Yeah, so the people jammed in on the right side, they'll let them forward. And the parts behind them, behind the are empty because they've got, I guess, power and other shit that's right here.
Family. We're all a big family. Yeah, let them come to.
By the way, yeah, we're a big family. Look at this area back here. Like right back here, just nothing. Just empty.
Look, they go so far back
that you can actually see exactly where they end.
And it always angers me when we give the fake news a better position than the people.
It's not the fake news, fucko. It's RSBN and whoever the local affiliate is. The fuck's wrong with you? Those are his own cameras.
Oh, way back.
You know, yeah, give RSBN the finger. Threaten them. Like, well, that makes sense.
So they have these lenses today.
They have these lenses. So they have the. They could do this from a mile away.
They have these telescopic lenses, Kim, that they can be back another 100 yards and people can enjoy it more. Would you let them back in? Come on, let them get up. If you want safety for your family and security for your community, you need to throw every Democrat the hell out of office and vote for Republicans up and down the line. One of the worst and most sinister aspects of the Biden administration is their complete and total corruption of our justice system and the
the rule of law, because they're coming after him.
Rule of law.
They're coming after your favorite president for nothing. This woman, she's so racist.
Before our very eyes, Biden and his left-wing handlers are turning America.
That's the whole thing about, like, Biden's a master criminal, head of a giant international crime conglomerate, but he's also a doddering fool who can't finish a sentence and is slow and old and slow and old and old and slow.
Into a police state like something straight out of a communist country. The radical Democrats.
Yeah, you know, in those communist countries where they make people stand behind railings and in certain sections, and then they're forced to show ID, and you can't even bring a gun anywhere you want.
They're locking up pro-life activists.
No, they're not. They're locking up violent criminals. Whether what the fuck they do is a hobby, bothering people trying to exercise their right to medical privacy does not pertain to the argument at all.
Persecuting their political opponents. Nobody can believe this is happening, Kim.
So that's because it's not.
It's happening at a level that nobody can believe.
Because it's not happening, and therefore, you can't believe in the tooth fairy for the same reason.
They even raided Mar-a-Lago. Can you believe it?
No, they didn't.
Raided Mar-a-Lago.
No, they didn't.
Tell you what I'd like to do.
What would you like to do?
spying on their political rivals.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, tough guy, what would you like to do? I'd like to raid them. Is that where he was going? Which is fucking gibberish anyways, but...
Silencing dissent and using the full force of government, law enforcement, and the media to try and defeat the greatest movement in the history of our country. MAGA.
It's one of the greatest movements.
MAGA. Biden's really been going after MAGA lately. He says, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. You know, MAGA...
What does he say?
Is called Make America Great Again. Okay.
No, it isn't. Make America Great Again as a slogan is called MAGA because it's the exact fucking opposite, dunce.
Okay, you know, somebody should explain that. Just this week in Pennsylvania, Supreme Court ruled, in effect, that the 2020 presidential election was rigged. You saw this, just happened this week.
What?
This week in Pennsylvania, Supreme Court ruled, in effect, that the 2020 presidential election was rigged. You saw this, just happened this week. They stated that the things that took place with the ballots in 2020 were not allowed. They weren't allowed. Oh, good. That means we won, right? No. But they refused to rule against invalidating the election. But they said, but in the future, they say these fraudulent acts, election irregularities and infractions cannot be done anymore. That's wonderful. Isn't that a terrible thing? So they agree that it was rigged now. And by the way, Wisconsin, so many
no, they don't.
Many states are now finding this thing was rigged. But think of it. So Pennsylvania, Kim, you wouldn't let this happen. So
yeah, but how does Jeff feel about it?
Pennsylvania rules and strongly that, okay, it was wrong. And by the way, far more votes than needed for victory. Very close. I was up almost 1 million votes at 10 o'clock in the evening with 73%.
Yeah, when they didn't count half the fucking state.
3% of the vote in. Then all of a sudden, boom, it's a disgrace what's going on between the
He should use the word disgrace.
Borders in the elections. In other words, I was right and the court admitted that, but
no, they didn't.
They say it only matters for future elections. The number of votes discussed, as I just said, was far more than needed to win.
Well, technically speaking, there were a lot of votes that were in question. All of them, of course, were Trump votes that were fake or fraudulent. Hold on one second. I've got to do this thing.
What?
Yeah, it's true. And Trump tried desperately to throw the election by paying for large groups of votes. Yeah, it's true. In Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, but he was told by somebody that if you pay, if you get 3 million votes, then that'll be enough and you'll win and don't worry about it anymore. And he tried to win it on the cheap.
What?
Yeah, it's true. I heard that.
And this was only in one form of cheating. This was one form of cheating.
Yeah, there was lots. Don't forget the Dominion Bank shot into Spain, counting votes in German.
So many. There's so many you can almost not count. This is a very unfair thing to...
You can almost not count. I mean, you'd need, I don't know, like machines, like voting machines to do the counting.
Your favorite president, but what the hell? I've been treated so unfairly. What?
Boo-hoo.
What the hell difference does it make at this point?
Right, yeah, it doesn't. It makes no difference. You're fucked. Go away.
No, your favorite president.
Jimmy Carter?
Your favorite president, excuse me to all those young people, your favorite president got screwed. That's what happened.
I agree, because Obama should have gotten a third term. I'm normally 4-term limits, but sorry, Marcus. So douchey.
Thank you very much. It's true.
It's so true. It's true. You do love Trump. It's so true. It's true when you say you love Trump, and you so do. It's a wonderful land of happy, happy, where we all dream that we won the election, even though we didn't. Happy, happy.
Thank you very much. That's very,
Thank you for saying USA. I know that means Trump in another language.
very nice. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much. And P.S. Go fuck yourself.
No, it's a sad thing because look what's happened to our country in 2 years. Look, nobody can even believe what's happened to our country.
Yes, not from your telling, because apparently I haven't been outside on the streets of Chicago without being hit with a bat. Maybe this is all a dreamy dream.
Every freedom-loving
It is a dreamy dream. I was hit in the head with a bat in Chicago walking down the street when Sexy Liberal was performing there. And this is like, I'm like, it's like the Who Shot JR storyline. It never really happened.
American needs to understand the time to stand up, to get this whole thing right, and to stop the left-wing tyranny is right now.
Right now.
So if you want to save your rights and liberties, you have to start by dealing a really big and humiliating rebuke to the radical left this election coming up right now. So Tuesday, you have to crush the communists and go out to the ballot box. And you know, I used to say socialism, right? They've skipped over socialism. The socialism is that was just a little way station, right?
It was a way station. Well, technically speaking, I think it was Lenin and Stalin both believed you can't get to communism except through socialism. That's the trajectory. It's why it's never worked, both of them.
Jeff, they've gone much.
It's fucking Jeff again. Hey, and that's why now we know Jeff's an expert on communism. He sits down close and holds up cue cards that say the communism thing. Right. Thanks, Jeff.
Further than that. This is terrible.
Fucking Jeff, am I right?
What's happening is terrible.
Ask Kim what Jeff thinks, and Jeff will talk to Kim, and Kim will talk to Jeff. We don't know who the fuck.
Well, we got to stop it. For 6 straight years, the witch hunts, hoaxes, and abuses have been coming fast and furious like nobody's ever seen before.
Well, you never ran before, dummy, so you got to crime under the radar in New York where people just let that shit slide. You should have never stuck your head up if you didn't want to experience whack-a-mole, fucko.
And they'll finish one, the Adam Shifts of the world, right? Adam Schiff. Shifty Schiff.
Head like a watermelon, blah, 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 yeah.
And you win, you keep winning, you win, but it takes time and effort and everything, but you win. 2 weeks later, they come up with another hoax, right?
Well, who gives a shit if you were winning then? What were you winning? What was the win? Oh yeah, COVID shut everything down and stopped people from noticing that we were heading into a recession in the end of 2019. And you were arguing that the Fed should have below zero interest rates so that literally the American people could pay to print their own fucking money.
Come up with the document hoax, or they come up with any one of them.
The document hoax. It wasn't a hoax, fucko. This fucking pictures. You said you have them.
Russia. First, we learned they spied on my campaign. Remember?
No, they didn't.
Can you imagine if we spied on Biden's campaign?
Yeah, you wouldn't find anything. It'd be boring as shit.
Or Obama's campaign.
Also, you'd be bored to fucking tears.
It would be like, let's wheel out the electric chair, right?
Yeah, that's they would have done like you placed listening devices and all you heard was people ordering from Starbucks.
They spy on my campaign, meaning a Republican, but me in particular, because
you're not really a Republican.
Trump derangement syndrome. They don't like me. And they don't like me because nobody's ever done what we've done. What we've done.
Oh, you mean like literally bragged about grabbing women by the pussy and then telling Chris Matthews that women who get abortions should be punished and then putting people on the Supreme Court that you had no right to put on the Supreme Court that will deny women those rights and guarantee that women will be put in jail for exercising the right to medical privacy and getting an abortion if they need one. You mean that stuff? You're right. Nobody's ever done that shit. I mean, not for decades.
For this country, including those tax cuts, which they cannot seem to, they want to double up and triple up your taxes. They have not been able to break through. They have not been able to do it.
Yeah, it must be, it's not for a lack of actually trying, though.
But they do want,
which they haven't.
Want to do it, and they have.
By the way, they unless these people are billion-dollar corporations, in which the Biden administration got through a 15% baseline tax for billion-dollar corporations. Just saying, for the record.
Actually raised some taxes, but we gave you the biggest tax cut in history, and we're very.
Wait, did he say what? Was that?
And they don't like me because nobody's ever done what we've done. What we've done for this country, including those tax cuts, which they cannot seem to, they want to double up and triple up your taxes. They have not been able to break through. They have not been able to do it. But they do want to do it, and they have actually raised some taxes. But we gave you the biggest tax cut in history, and we're very...
No, you didn't. Their tax cut was temporary. The people there, I mean, he's at a regional airport, so there's probably some private plane owners there that got a permanent one. Motherfucker, did I hit the button, shit.
Don't you, huh? Don't tell. I'm going to get seasick.
Hold on.
And it always angers me when we give the fake news a better position. The 2020 presidential election was rigged. You saw it. By the way, Wisconsin, so many states are now finding it. This thing was rigged.
No, they aren't.
But think of it. So Pennsylvania, Kim, you wouldn't let this happen.
No.
So Pennsylvania rules, and strongly, that, okay, it was wrong. And by the way, far more votes. So many. There's so many you can almost not count.
Yeah, we saw that part. Okay.
Right? They've skipped over socialism.
Right,
socialism is that was just a little waste station. Right, Jeff? They've got...
Hi. What? Hold on one second. There's a food order happening, and I've got to work it. Hold on one second. The 3, 2, 1. Look at this. Give me 1 second. Yep. So hold on 1 second. Coming back. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Where was I? Here we go. Do you like the new Be Right Back thing? I actually put music in and everything. All right, here we go. This is, where were we? This dumbass was talking about communism.
Gone much further than that. This is...
No, they haven't. And we don't even have, all right. Even the people who like socialism have to know at this point that we don't have socialism in this country at fucking all. We have normal democratic taxation. We have a representative government that through your electing of whoever you want running your district or your state or what have you, takes the funds that they take in through taxes and directs them in a way that the electorate of that particular state or that particular district, the majority of which want it to go. So if we build up a program, even when we create Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, those kind of things, that is not socialism. We don't have people on Social Security don't go to Social Security medical facilities. People on Medicare and Medicaid don't go to government hospitals instead of going to private ones. It's just dumb. We have just because something has the word social in it doesn't mean it's socialism. Social media sites aren't socialism. Fuck. The military's nope. The military doesn't count either. It is a subset. If the VA is specifically, again, we have decided as taxpayers that we have a military and certain people will be paid on behalf of all of us to go fight wars and do shit like that. And those people, as a benefit, will receive certain care. But if you're outside of that, you don't. Americans can't go to the VA, those facilities. And now, thanks to Obama in 2014, people can go outside the VA system and not go to a VA facility. They go to a private facility if it's closer to their house and it's cheaper. So, yeah, Truth Social is not socialism. It's silly.
It's terrible. What's happening is terrible, and we got to stop it. For 6 straight years.
Again, I just call it communism. We got to stop it. It's terrible because it's terrible. I call it that. I didn't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
The witch hunts, hoaxes, and abuses have been coming fast and furious like nobody's ever seen before.
Has anybody seen anything like this before? I mean, I watched All the President's Men again a little while ago. We love socialism. No, we don't. No, we don't. It's a dead system, just like communism, just like the idea of capitalism. People talk about capitalism as like it's still based on resource capitalism from the fucking 1700s. None of these words mean anything in the modern society. I'm telling you. You might as well, fuck. What's a good analogy? You might as well talk about the political parties in terms of how do they weigh against modern issues compared to how the Whigs would have ruled.
They'll finish the Adam Schiffs of the world, right? Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. And you win, you keep winning, you win, but it takes time and effort and everything, but you win.
No, you don't. And you didn't. And I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
2 weeks later, they come up with another hoax, right? They come up with the document hoax, or they come up with any one of a lot. Russia, Russia, Russia. First, we learned they spied on my campaign. Remember, they spied. Can you imagine if we spied on
we already saw this part.
this country, including those tax cuts, which they cannot seem to, they want to double up and created the fake dossier that was done and paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton.
Nope, it was not done and paid for. She paid for it after the Washington Free Beacon had paid for it, and they hired somebody, Fusion GPS, to get Christopher Steele to put it together because the Republicans were trying to get rid of Donald Trump, and then when they decided he was going to win, they just let him go ahead and have it, and then they sold it to Hillary Clinton, who, when her team read it, went, we're not going to run with this. We think we're going to win anyways. We don't need to talk about fucking PP tapes. This is gross. We're going to win on the merits. We're not worried. The dude's a fucking clown. And so they shelved it. And Christopher Steele himself went to the FBI and went, this is fucking full of crimes. This fucker is dangerous.
Democrats, a Democrat National Committee.
National Committee?
The party itself. In conjunction, I hate to say it, because I have so many friends there, so many people that are great, in conjunction with the FBI. You like that? And yet, after all of that,
no, it wasn't in conjunction with the fucking FBI.
these same people come after me. They come after me. Trump, Trump, Trump. They created all these hoaxes, all these shams. Remember, it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. And then the Mueller witch hunt, where the conclusion was no collusion. Do you think?
No, it wasn't.
Biden could say that? The conclusion was no collusion. I don't.
No, he has a stutter. And it's a stupid phrase. It's not only that he might have difficulty with it because it's weird and clunky, but also, and childish, but also he wouldn't say it because it's false.
I think you'd have a hard time with that one. And then it was impeachment hoax.
By the way, that's a slam on him for having a stutter is the idea.
Number one, impeachment hoax number two, the censorship of the Biden family corruption story as the Russian disinformation, right? The FBI went to Facebook and they said, oh, this is Russian don't do anything. This is Russian disinformation on the laptop from hell. They said it was Russian disinformation. Uncle Sam, I'm telling you, he's going to pass out. He can't stand this anymore. He's hearing these things and it's driving him crazy, right?
Yeah, because you know why? Because he's been to lots of these fucking rallies. And it's the same shit every time. You're supposed to be there trying to drum up votes for the Republicans that are running next fucking week. The election is Tuesday. By the way, let me know in the chat room if you have voted or if you're planning on voting or you've got your votes sent in. I got, and let me see if I can show you this thing right here. There is oh, bless you. Somebody sent a Venmo and I wanted to see that. Somebody came in right there. Doris, thank you so much. And Sasha, thank you. And Leslie, oh my gosh, thank you. And Belicia, thank you so much as well. And Delise Christensen, thanks for the 666. I greatly appreciate it. But in the, let's see if I can find this for you. Yeah, here you go. Hal S. This is a message from the California Secretary of State on behalf of Los Angeles County Registrar of Voters. Your ballot for the November 8th, 2022 general election was received and counted. Thank you for voting. Questions? Call 800-815-2666. Hi there. Or email votebymail@rrcc.lacounty.gov. And by the way, that's preceding another message that I got that said the Postal Service has collected your ballot for the upcoming November 8 election. And then before that, this is a message from the California Secretary of State on behalf of LA County voters. Your ballot, let's say, it's the last day. This is the last day that's coming up for you to mail in your ballot is coming up, which I beat, by the way. And then this is a message from them that your ballot for the general election has been mailed to you. 4 fucking texts I've got about my ballot saying it's on its way. This is the last day. The next one said, this is the last day you can send it in coming up. And the mail picked it up and we got it. We got to stop these machines.
Uncle Sam, this was not there he goes. Bye, Sam. Now, this was not the way it was supposed to happen, Uncle Sam, right? Okay? Who would believe this? If you ever...
Dude, if that dude in the Uncle Sam outfit fucking passed out and Trump's like, what, he's looking woozy. What the fuck happened to that guy? Did he faint?
Wrote it in a novel.
And he just like wrote it into the act and moved on?
Nobody would believe it, the corruptness. But they went up to Facebook and they said, this is Russia disinformation. And you could look at that thing and that was not disinformation. Nobody could make disinformation that good.
Of course you could. It's fucking pathetic. If it wasn't disinformation, we'd know what the fucking laptop looks like. The dude who actually got it wouldn't have been the only Delaware repairman who can only see 6 inches in front of his face, couldn't pick Hunter Biden out of a lineup, doesn't and cannot identify the FBI agents that allegedly picked up the laptop. Those wouldn't have told people that those FBI agents said, you know, guys, keep quiet about this kind of thing, probably live longer. Like they fucking threatened him and then called him back and said, if Hunter comes back to pick up his laptop, let us know, we'll drop it off, which the FBI never fucking does. These are all real points. Like multiple interviews with this fucking guy. And then it just so happens that he doesn't trust the FBI at Delaware. So he calls his dad, and his dad has a friend who knows Rudy Giuliani's attorney, and Rudy Giuliani's attorney will hook him up with the FBI. And so that's when those guys show up. And then they say, give us the laptop, everything you've got. This is what allegedly these guys say. And he does, except he keeps a copy of the hard drive for himself, which he disseminates, which allegedly, according to Rudy Giuliani, has child porn on it, because it's supposedly in some areas, we've never seen any of these pictures, but the girls look particularly young. And so therefore, John Paul McIsaac and Rudy Giuliani have made multiple copies of a hard drive containing images of an adult engaging in sex with a minor, according to them. And what did they do? Did they report it to the police and drop them off and never touch them again? Nope. They made multiple copies and passed them out. They store multiple copies at their fucking house, which is the collection and dissemination of child porn under the law. And yet, still, this was a great scheme. The one where it ends up is with Rudy Giuliani, who, by the way, sits on this fucking hard drive for something like 12 months, concocts a story that the laptop was ultimately left at Keith Ablow's house, and then he got busted for drugging and fucking his patients, so they had to come up with a new story. Ugh.
But it wasn't.
There is no Hunter Biden laptop.
True, and it made a point of, I guess it was about 17 points different. And if you think it's easy being up here with this wind, and I got these stupid teleprompters waving like a flag, you're going to...
Then just talk off the cuff, Mr. Master. You have the best words. Use them. I don't have a fucking teleprompter. I do this show. Shit, I could do his whole fucking speech at this point. What? Honest to God. Most of the people who watch this show, we could all quote it verbatim at this fucking point. What the fuck do you need? You need like 4 bullet points written on the podium.
Kim, you think this is easy doing this, don't you, huh? Don't tell her. I'm going to get seasick. I'm getting seasick. The teleprompters. I said, do you have them nice inside? Well, you know, most of the time, the best speeches, we just give them up and we just wrap it out, right?
Yeah, just wrap it out. Go ahead. Freestyle it.
Something which doesn't work very well for Biden. No.
No. Because the last couple of days, there have been a lot of situation where he's been walking around with a microphone. He's doing some stuff off the teleprompter, but he's also speaking extemporaneously the rest of the time. Have we seen Trump take a microphone and walk and step away from that fucking podium while speaking ever? Ever? Because Biden does that thing. Biden insists on having a handheld mic because he does his speech and then he picks it up and they'll start like chit-chatting while he's doing or telling stories or whatever. Trump, I've never seen Trump do that. Anywhere. The only place we've ever seen him walk around and talk at the same time was the fucking Hillary debates.
Oh, now these suckers are moving around pretty good. I'm trying to follow them and I'm getting seasick up here. And then it was the unselected.
Getting seasick in Iowa.
Committee of political hacks and thugs, and also the appalling misconduct by the racist and incompetent New York State Attorney General Letitia Peekaboo James.
And by the way, Peekaboo comes from a reference to another variation of a word that ends in boo and starts with a J. It's gross. It's racist. He picked it up from somebody else, and either he's pretending not to know what it really means, or he's happily using it. Secondly, she's racist because she's black, and she's only going after him because he's white.
Who is presiding over a record number of murders, rapes, drug deals, and every other form of
She presides over them, doesn't she? Is she coordinating them all?
crime
She must be exhausted.
in our once great New York State, which is going to hell. It's going to hell. It's a crime-ridden, and we have a good man, Lee Zeldin. But she only spends her time going after Trump. Let's get Trump. It's good for my election. Let's get Trump. In the meantime, I mean, what's happening in New York, because we have these incompetent people, they don't even know what they're doing. They have no concept of violent crime and how to stop it. Likewise, a local...
No concept whatsoever. They have no idea of what is violent crime. I wouldn't even be able to pick it out of a lineup.
left-wing...
By the way, I take a lot of these topics seriously. I do not take this man seriously. So I'm not going to even, I get riled up occasionally and feel the need to, like, dig into some facts like his border shit because it annoys me. But the majority of the time, he's just talking out of his ass. He's literally making it up as he goes along.
DA in Atlanta is after me for an absolutely perfect phone call. Even better, I would say better than the Ukrainian call to the president. This one was even better. Nobody complained about it. A year later, all of a sudden, they said, oh, that call, didn't he make a call?
No, they complained about it the second they heard the recording, you fuck.
A perfect phone call about election integrity. I call about election integrity.
Yeah, that's what you called about. Now, you have legal channels that don't involve you trying to muscle a member of your own party who's the governor of a state and the secretary of state who's in charge of the elections to do it on your behalf. Come on, fellas, do me a favor, just do it.
And they said, oh, well, did he possibly say? No, it was a perfect call. Better than my first perfect call, remember? They impeached me on a perfect call. Even while Atlanta is among the highest murder rates of any city in the country, by the way, per capita, higher than Chicago, and they're playing games with election integrity.
Okay, first of all, the governor and the secretary of state are not just the governor and secretary of state of the city of Atlanta. Also, let's see. Let's see. This is let's see. The red state murder problem. Rate of murders in the U.S. has gone up at an alarming rate, but despite a media narrative to the contrary, this is a problem that afflicts Republican-run cities and states as much or more than the Democratic bastions. In 2020, per capita murder rates were over 40% higher in states won by Donald Trump than those won by Joe Biden. 8 of the 10 states with the highest murder rates in 2020 voted for a Republican presidential nominee in every election in this century. The U.S. saw an alarming 30% increase in murder in 2020, while 2021 data is not yet complete. This is an older story. Murder was on the rise again in the past year. Some blue cities like Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia have seen real and persistent increases in homicide. These cities, along with others like Los Angeles, New York, and Minneapolis, are also in places with wall-to-wall media coverage and national media interest. But there's a large piece of the homicide story that is missing. And calls into question the veracity of the right-wing obsession over homicides in Democratic cities. Murder rates are far higher in Trump-voting red states than Biden-voting blue states. And sometimes murder rates are highest in cities with Republican mayors. For example, Jacksonville, a city with a Republican mayor, had 128 more murders in 2020 than did San Francisco, a city with a Democratic mayor, despite their comparable populations. In fact, the homicide rate in Speaker Pelosi's San Francisco was half that of House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy's Bakersfield, city with a Republican mayor that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Yet there is barely a whisper, let alone an outcry, of these stunning levels of murders in these and other places. Whoops. There we go.
All of these local Democrat-run cases are being directed by Washington. We have a weaponized Department of Justice, a weaponized FBI, including, of course, the break-in, the famous break-in.
No, it's not a break-in. They didn't fucking break in. They didn't even raid the place. They showed up with a warrant. The door was open. They didn't break fucking anything. They got into the safe, I suppose. Is that what you mean?
But it is a nice house, you have to say.
It's not a fucking house.
And they really violated my Fourth Amendment rights. That's
No, they didn't. They dotted all of the I's and crossed all the T's.
It's a big deal. Fourth Amendment, Kim, you know.
Yeah, what is it? Tell them what the Fourth Amendment means. Describe, yeah, it says Fourth Amendment right here. You know, and that's huge. Huge, Fourth Amendment. You know, I wasn't quartering soldiers at Mar-a-Lago, and even if I was, that's because we support our great veterans. Am I right?
They ever did that to your house? Well, they wouldn't do it because you're in Iowa. They wouldn't have the courage to do that in Iowa.
I think that's a reference to the fact that people in Iowa would be packing guns and they would shoot back. Again, why didn't this fucker have a house in Iowa?
Radical left. The radical left thinks by doing all of these wicked and venomous things, and they are really horrible.
They are so wicked and so venomous.
That they're making us weaker, when in actuality, they are making us all more unified, and they're making us all much stronger, right? MAGA. MAGA. You look good. You look good. There's a handsome guy. He's got a MAGA. That hat is a hot seller, let me tell you. They're coming after me because I'm fighting for you. Remember that.
No. They're not trying to get these people for lying to banks about how much their properties are worth and lying to the IRS that they're not worth shit.
Coming after me because I'm fighting for you. To every citizen who is appalled by the radical left's lawlessness, and it's unbelievable what they're doing.
Yes, it's not believable coming from you.
What they're doing is unbelievable.
It isn't believable. It's horrible and not believable.
Hard to believe, even parental.
It's hard to believe. It is hard to believe anything you're fucking saying at this point. Like, it's weird that he says these words like a fucking tick.
Rights. I was saying the other day I was with a group. We're gonna.
Unbelievable. Definitely unbelievable. Definitely not believable. Definitely nothing I say is believable. Definitely not believable. Fart.
Stand up for parents. Who the hell ever thought we were going to have to stand up for parents? Can you imagine? You're up here. I guess.
Dude, he didn't even change his own kids' diapers. He didn't ever want to give a shit about parenting.
That's what politicians.
That's women's work, right?
I never felt like a politician, but I'm saying we will stand up for you, parents. And then I say, can you imagine we have to actually say that, Kim? Right? Even say it, but this.
It's a sales point. You don't mean it.
This election.
Don't worry about it, dummy. Nobody expects you to actually mean it.
This is your chance to make your voice heard. This is a big deal. With your vote, you can reject left-wing tyranny and proudly declare that America will always remain a free country.
Unless you're a woman, of course, in which case your decision about what to do with your body should be between you, your doctor, and local political hacks.
You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together.
Oh, my God. And they would form Voltron Trump.
They would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in.
That's true, because he hasn't. And being the 5 worst, including this asshole, there would have been a lot of damage.
Less than 2 short years. Here's a clip. Does anyone want to see a little clip on a nice, expensive monitor? Here it is.
How would you say your mental focus is?
What?
By the way, that's him trying to find, like, they use that picture all the time, too. He was answering Steve Doocy, and he's trying not to call him a motherfucker. He calls him a stupid son of a bitch later on, like about a week later after that clip. But he's like, okay, fuck me. Like, basically, he's trying not to act like I do during a lot of these clips. Also, like, you don't think somebody can put together a Trump, like, hold on.
They say a wall is medieval. Well, so is a wheel. A wheel is older than a wall. Although she does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird.
I went to an Ivy League school,
I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting. June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things. And then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? I don't care how sick you are. I don't care if you just came back from the doctor and he gave you the worst possible prognosis, meaning it's over. Hang out till November 8th. Get out and vote.
He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
Enrique? It's a big thing. A lot of people waiting.
Introducing President Kenya.
Hello?
Okay. Thank you, fellas.
For all peoples. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like him a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. President, you need to sign.
I'm only signing it because it costs nothing.
What an asshole. Anyways, so yeah, like, should we just want to see a clip, a well-produced clip, everyone? All right. So he was able to cut together 8-second moments from multiple Biden speeches. No one would ever be able to do that with a Trump speech. Fuck, you could do a segment that long, like the one he showed, with one of his fucking speeches.
So it is sad, and it's not really anything that's funny, because our world is in a very dangerous place with nuclear weapons, and it's the first time I've ever heard such talk about nuclear. You know,
What the fuck are you talking about? Let me know in the chat if you lived through the 80s. What the fuck is he talking about? Maybe this has to do with just like absolute privilege in his fucking life.
nuclear word was never a word that's supposed to even be discussed.
The nuclear word was never a word that was even supposed to be discussed. No, it's supposed to be discussed so you don't use it.
And now every day, a certain country is mentioning it, and now another country, as you know, North Korea, we got along very well. That was supposed to be a big war. If I wasn't elected, that would have been a war. He expected to have war.
Yeah, we would have had that war before he developed 8 more nukes.
Tremendous nuclear capability, and Russia mentioning it all the time now. It would have never happened.
No.
But we could end up in a third world war because of what's going on, the stupidity of what's being said. And
yeah, well, tell them what you should say. I mean, that'll solve it, right? Too cold for blacks for Trump? I think it's just too Iowa.
it's a very serious
That's a long trip for him. The dude's in New Jersey or some shit.
problem. It really is. We have somebody leading us that should not be leading us. We could end up in World War III, and World War III will blow everything away because World War III has nuclear weapons like nobody's ever seen and other things.
Yeah, Yeah, you think it's bad. Wait till you see what happens after the nukes are set. Then they're really going to use the stuff that they're going to release.
And we can't let
People like sticks and stones and hammers and muskets.
that happen. But we could very well end up in World War III. Under my leadership,
You just wanted to say World War III a bunch of times.
we had for the first time American energy independence and even energy dominance. Now Biden
We still do,
is begging and pleading
because it was started because of the shale revolution, which occurred before.
with OPEC. But instead of increasing production, they're cutting it. How about this? Oil per barrel reaches an all-time high in the history of our world. And he announces, we're not going to drill anymore. No, when it reaches that, you got to drill. We could have cut taxes. We could have made so much money. Anwar in Alaska, which the first day they ended, took 60 years. I got it done. Nobody else could get it done.
You didn't get it done because didn't get done. If you got it approved and then the electorate said fuck you because you tried to do it, that's a sign that we didn't want it done. That was yet another reason why people voted against Trump.
They got it done and they ended it. Bigger than Saudi
They ended it before it started because they didn't want it to start, and that's one of the reasons why you lost the election.
Arabia, they say. Under my leadership, we gave the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in American history, bigger than the Reagan cuts. I stood up
Again, this is not even true.
for Iowa ethanol. I think I got some credit for that.
No. Also, by the way, California is one of the reasons why ethanol is such a big deal, because California insists on ethanol in the gas, which makes it slightly more expensive. Here we go. Hold on one second. I'm trying to find an article where it's not behind a paywall, but outgoing Obama administration mandates record ethanol blending. Yeah. Everybody was cranking up ethanol as a way of mitigating climate change.
So, you know,
Initially, they were against it, the Obama administration, and then over time, they were like, nope, this is actually better environmentally. Once it passed the environmental tests, they were like, yeah, it's actually positive, which is why California jumped on board.
we ran twice.
Most of the ethanol, I would say the lion's share of ethanol-related gas goes to California because they insist.
And we won your state twice, and nobody's done for the farmers, and even ethanol and all of the things like we did.
And all the things, yeah, just ethanol and things. So ethanol was just written, and corn, something.
Stood up.
Oh, hey, Nubia.
President
Hi.
in history for Iowa farmers and for farmers all over, farmers and ranchers and
Farmers and ranchers and growers and showers alike.
manufacturers all over the country, passing USMCA, virtually eliminating the unfair estate tax or death tax on farms and farmers, so that now when you pass away,
No, personal, like family farms were exempt largely, and certain states have stronger controls on them. But like the big states like Kansas and Iowa and Montana, Wyoming, like all of them have protections for passing one on. The difference is that family-owned big ag business trying to pass it on to the Don Juniors of those family. That was different because it's not keeping a family farm in the hands of the family product, their children. It was about, forming a big company, buying up farms, and then passing those farms on, trying to take advantage of that.
you can, if you like your child, I always say, if you don't like, leave it to charity.
What?
On farms and farmers, so that now when you pass away, you can, if you like your child, I always say, if you don't like, leave it to charity. Some of us have horrible children. Do you have any horrible
What the fuck?
children? Does anybody have like a child where you really are not going to leave your farm? Any farmers?
You mean like Tiffany or Eric?
No, you.
What the fuck is that? Holy shit. Somebody just had an argument in the family.
Don't have to. Just if you don't like them, don't, then what I did for you doesn't mean anything.
Holy hell. You think it's Don Jr.? Are we going to take a poll? Should we do a poll about who it is?
But I got rid of the inheritance. You know what would happen. You love your children, you want to leave it, and they end up going bust because they can't pay the estate tax. Well, you don't have that problem anymore with the farm, so it's great.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It's let's see. Moreover, Gateses and their heirs are not exempt to the rule of they have 280 currently not on non-operating landlords. 53% were inherited or gifted. Had the Biden plan been placed when these non-farmers inherited the land, they would have paid taxes on unrealized capital gains over the $2 million threshold. The AFP, here you go. The American Families Plan, whatever, taxes billionaires, protects farmers. Okay. According to the USDA, 98% of family-owned and operated farm estates would not incur any additional taxes when parents' assets are passed to their heirs. And under the Biden plan, such families would have their tax payments deferred so long as the farm remained in the family. The remaining 2% would pay higher taxes only on their non-farm assets. For example, even if Bill Gates were to begin farming his own land and could thus take advantage of the Biden exemption for family-operated farms, he would still have to pay taxes on the gains from his Microsoft stock and other non-farm assets he owned. The Republicans just wanted to end the estate tax and say, it's kind of like his thing about asylum fraud. Get rid of all asylum and you get rid of the fraud too, but you don't keep the parts that are helpful. Same thing with this. Get rid of the estate tax and anybody can pass along any farms that they have, whether they farm them or not. Just any land that qualifies as farmland, whether you farm on it or you rent it out to be farmed by other companies or whatever. And in the Biden administration, no, if it's a family farm and you're passing it along to your kids, you get to keep that. And your non-farm stuff, you can defer if it helps to keep the farm afloat. You can defer a lot of your other taxes for 2 years.
Very important.
So that if they, for payroll taxes, other stuff like that, if you start to re-up the family farm and make sure that you can staff it.
They were being... Right? They were being decimated. They'd leave. They love their children. They'd leave it to their children. Then they get this huge estate tax. They have to mortgage it. Then they end up losing it. That's very sad stories. I got rid of it.
And by the way, why would the Biden administration have to put a plan in place if he'd have, quote, gotten rid of it?
Call it the death tax. And standing up to China.
Oh, my green screen moved. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I moved. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, because I moved and my camera tracked me. Sorry. Sorry, there's a big slit in the middle of it. Let me fix it. Hold on. I turned off the, where is it? There we go. And bring this in. Sorry about that. I forgot that if I start gesturing like him, it'll follow me sometimes. There you go. Move myself back over here. Squeeze that back up. Thanks for the heads up.
With massive tariffs, taking in billions and billions of dollars.
By the way, hang on 1 second. If I may, we're going to give it 1 second because I've got someone waiting off camera who wants to say hello, who's sticking his little paws underneath my door. Hi, buddy. What's going on?
What's happening? What's happening, buddy? Oh my gosh, it's the chipper, and he wants attention. What's he want? He wants some love. How's my buddy? What are you doing, buddy? Is it too bright? You're in the dark? Hi. Yeah. Hi, buddy. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this, buddy. Hi. Yeah. Chip's like, they ordered food and your food is on the way and I would like some of it. So can you please stop this ridiculousness? Hi, buddy.
Yeah, he doesn't understand why I'm running late tonight. When I run late, he gets very confused. What's up, buddy? Here you go. Yeah, I need another arm. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. He's my serval. Look at your big belly. Look at his big belly. Hi, buddy. You okay? Yeah? You good? Yeah. All right. Aw, you sweet boy. All right. I'll get you a snack in a little bit, okay? If the food gets here, you let me know, okay? He was like looking at me and literally licking his lips. He's like, is this a snack? Is it going to be a snack? Are we doing snacks? Or is it snack time? Are we having a snack? Please tell me we're having a snack. Please. Please let me know that the snack is the snacking and we're snacking some more. Can we snack a little bit? Can we please snack? I need a snack. All right. He is a chubber flub. It's true. But he's a big boy. All right. Back to where we were. Sorry.
Dollars when no other president took in literally 10 cents, not 10
Again, literally a lie.
cents over decades.
Nonsense.
And I gave a portion of that to the
thank you,
farmers
Treva.
because the farmers.
I gave a portion of it because I was trying to buy their votes. Thank you, Robin, as well. And Kath, thank you. The only way I can stand watching this monster is with Hal's humor. Oh, thanks.
Were treated very unfairly by the Chinese, right? Oh, he got a big check. You got a check. I'll bet that
What, is that why they showed up to your free event?
guy got a big. He's standing up and giving me a high five. You look at him, and he looks very
That's not a high five. It's a German salute, and it creeps everyone out.
prosperous. And you know how much money I took out of China for just the farmers? $28 billion, right? Hopefully you didn't get too much of it. I think he got a big chunk of it. No, $28 billion.
Hopefully you didn't get too much of it. Now Trump's jealous of anybody who got money. He's like, I gave you that money. You should give me some of that money. Should be sending it my way, even though it was to make up for lost revenue.
2 years, I went to our Secretary of Agriculture. How much have they hurt us? He said
Right,
over
we've
2
seen this
years,
part.
$28 billion. So I took out from much more than that. I took out $28 billion. We distributed to all of the farmers all over.
Including foreign-owned farms that aren't owned by Americans. They got a big chunk because they own giant farms, big agribusiness.
For the country. And that's something that's never happened
Thanks,
before. Nobody's ever
Wichita.
thought of that. Nobody would ever think of it. You have to be a little different to think of those things, but I was a little different.
Yeah, you're a little different. Spun is the word I would use.
And then we secured a deal that included the largest agricultural
What the fuck?
worth of our farm product, and all of you are still benefiting. But I think, Eric, they're not like they lived up. I used to check it every
Is that just me hearing that, or is that you guys hearing that as well? Is this just the quality programming we've come to expect from RSBN?
week. Are they buying? Are they buying? 50 billion. Remember, they wanted 15. Farmers wanted 15. And I said, let's make it more. You know, it is.
Okay. I heard it too. I was like, what the fuck was that?
1.5 billion people. I said, let's make it more. So I told my people, make it 50. They said, 50? And then the farmers came back. They said, we have a problem. I couldn't believe they said this, Kim. They said, we have a problem. We can't produce that much. I said, you'll figure a way. And I told them my famous line, go out and buy bigger pieces of land and bigger tractors, okay? And that's what they did.
No, they did not.
They went out, Jeff, and they bought more land and bigger tractors.
And also, why the fuck is the government subsidizing people to expand their land? Where the fuck are they buying it? From other people? So people who got this money from the government are what? Buying smaller farms and eating them up? So the big agribusinesses that got the lion's share of this payment were able to buy up a bunch of... Is that how Bill Gates fucking did it? Motherfucker, if we find out that one of the ways that Bill Gates was able to buy a bunch of these farms is because he, as a farm owner in the United States, was given, an allocation of funds equal to the land he already bought, and since he didn't fucking need it, he used it to buy other farms. So that's what it is now, that Bill Gates literally bought up and became the biggest owner of farmland in the United States, thanks to Trump giving him money he didn't fucking need.
And it worked out great. But now I understand that China's not living up to the deal because they don't
What deal?
respect the administration.
Don't respect the administration, motherfucker. They didn't live up to it when you were there. We don't want the deal. We want to keep our food.
To put it mildly. And
Yeah, okay. Can I just say for the record, A, fuck you, and B, I don't want a president that is quote unquote respected by Xi Jinping and the current leadership of the CCP. If some of the Chinese people appreciate him, cool. But insofar as those guys, I don't want them to respect him, because if they respect him, they think they have something on him. They effectively think of him as an equal. They are not. They are authoritarians, and Xi Jinping plans on being fucking emperor for life. This is garbage.
a bad thing could happen in China, too, with Taiwan. Let's see what happens. Like it wouldn't have happened with Ukraine. It wouldn't have happened with China. But let's see what happens, because they're circling it right now.
They're circling. We're circling it, you dumb son of a bitch.
With ships all over the place.
With ships all over the place. China doesn't have any ships that can go 500 miles out to sea without having to be refueled. Not a one. Their subs are diesel powered. We can hear them from 1,000 miles away.
Biden and the radical left Democrats have devastated the American farm.
Thank you, Barbara.
With crippling fuel costs, fertilizer shortages. I mean, the fertilizer stuff I hear is just a mess, right?
Oh, my God. Please explain the fact that fertilizer comes from Russia and we need, potash. And most of the potash comes from Russia because they don't give a shit about the environmental impact. So they'll just dig it up and they don't give a rat fuck who it makes sick or whatever. And so we take a bunch of environmental things into consideration, especially the health and welfare of our own citizens. And we're still going to have one of the biggest potash mines in the world in Michigan online in the next 12 months.
Fertilizer. We didn't have any fertilizer shortage. We didn't have
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you didn't have any sanctions against Russia because they tried to murder and rape a bunch of people.
diesel shortages, which they have right now. They have another 21 days left. Lots of luck after that. But it's only going to get worse.
No, we don't have enough. All right, this is like the net zero argument where they're like, we're net zero. We're not going to have anything because net zero means you're cleaning up or moving to renewables as fast as you are polluting so that it zeroes it out. It doesn't mean absolute zero. It's a totally different thing. Same thing here.
Fertilizer shortage. We didn't have diesel shortages, which they have right now. They have another 21 days left.
Okay. We do not have 25 days of diesel. We have 25 days of extra diesel, of diesel storage, essentially, if we need it. We're still getting diesel. We're not running out in 25 days of diesel. We have 25 days worth of diesel if all diesel seizes up and we don't get any more.
Lots of luck after that. But it's only going to get worse. Under the Trump administration,
it's only going to get worse.
We had the greatest economy in the history of the world.
By the way, every time he says it's only going to get worse, understand that he believes Republicans will take over the House and Senate. So what he's saying is if Republicans take over the House and Senate, it's only going to get worse.
With no inflation. And a man who really helped me with that was a guy named Chuck Grassley. He really was unbelievable. He
helped keep inflation down by what? Were you calling him late at night? Hey, Chuck, how do we keep inflation down? Well, I really think that one of the ways you can keep inflation down is just to pop that bubble. You know, sometimes you go out there to a pig farm and they have those big methane pools where they gather all the pig shit in one big swill pond, and then they cover it with a plastic tarp, and then that tarp starts to fill up with methane, and it's somebody's job on the farm to go out there and shoot that thing with a shotgun and let the methane out, you know, because they can't burn it off or whatever. Maybe you do that. Maybe you go down to Wall Street and you pop that bubble yourself.
Where is he?
Yeah, good idea. Good question. Where's he?
Chuck? Chuck Grassley. He was, you're unbelievable. I'm looking at him with that beautiful green hat. He looks like he's like 40 years old. You are unbelievable.
No, he does not. Chuck Grassley does not look like he is 40 years old. What the fuck are you talking about?
Unbelievable. But
yes, it's unbelievable that Chuck fucking Grassley looks 40.
I just said it. I'm going to introduce him in a second, but I had to
well, you already did.
say it. He helped me more than just about anybody. He's incredible. He loves this
How?
state, and he loves the farmers, and he loves ethanol. I said, how good is it? He said, it doesn't matter.
It tastes great. It leaves you, it pearls your teeth and curls your hair and gives your tongue a sleigh ride. What the fuck do you mean he loves ethanol?
We want it. There's no games with Chuck. And he got it. Biden and the Democrat Congress created the worst inflation in 50 years, 9.1%.
No, they didn't.
But it's much worse. And
hold on one second, by the way, if I may. Get out of here. I mean, it doesn't even make it difficult for me. Try. You're boring me, you dumb lunk. So
don't
true.
think you're buying a turkey for Thanksgiving because they're not available. And if you get them, you're going to have to pay 3 to 4 times more than you did last year.
Hold on. A 16-pound butterball frozen will cost you $16.91. A whole, let's see, a 20 to 24 pound one will cost you $43 at Vons. At Walmart, you can pick one up today, a whole turkey, 10 to 16 pounds, serves 12 people for $13. That's yeah. Here you go. Fuck you. Okay. Walmart and here you go. Turkey. Big turkeys could be hard to find. You'll have to settle on a turkey that only serves 12 people. Could be, by the way. Could be. Walmart and H-E-B and Aldi start a turkey price war. When I click on this, hold on one second, I'll show it for a second, hopefully. Walmart said it priced all the Thanksgiving fixings last year's, including a 50, fuck it. Basically, 50%, they're selling turkeys 50% cheaper than they did last year, literally half off. Food shortages will make turkey and other holiday foods hard to find, says Eater. Walmart is helping customers set the table this holiday season with this year's Thanksgiving meal at last year's price. This year's Thanksgiving meal at last year's price. Saving money is a top priority for customers right now. So this year, we're removing inflation of an entire basket, including traditional Thanksgiving items. We made significant investments on top of our everyday low prices so that they get, this is Walmart. Now, Republicans don't traditionally like Walmart or use Walmart. Okay, so let's see. Here you go. This is the Axios one. Here you go. October 18th, turkey prices up 73% due to factors like avian flu. Damn you, Joe Biden and your avian flu. Right now, the price per pound of an 8 to 16. There you go. Turkey price is 73% higher than last year and might stay that way through October 18th. Ongoing spread of bird flu will likely affect the price and availability of turkeys this Thanksgiving. Yes, that darn Biden bird flu. Might as well just call it the Biden flu at this point. Right now, the price per pound of an 8 to 16 pound turkey is $1.99, up from $1.15 last year, which is a 73% increase. Typically, bird flu spreads through colder months, but this year commercial turkey producers were reporting late cases of avian flu in July, a time when farmers were raising flocks for the holiday season, certainly occurring at a terrible time. The last avian flu outbreak was 2015, and about 50 million birds were affected, according to USDA data. This year, 47.6 million birds have been affected, and the flu has been detected in 42 states. To control the spread, growers must kill entire flocks, which usually contain about 15,000 birds. These viruses occurring at a higher level of frequency. It seems like this year HPAI is more acute. It's certainly more widespread in terms of geography. Lower industry-wide turkey supplies are expected to keep prices higher near term because of fucking avian flu. Here you go. They're $1.79 according to this one. The other one was $1.99 in October. 40 cents higher than last year's peak price. Skyrocket this Thanksgiving. The retail price for fresh, boneless, skinless turkey breast reached a record high of $6.70 per pound in September, 112% higher than the same a year ago for prepared turkey, because all of it's going into the full turkeys because they're going to sell those. Nobody's going to process fucking turkey breasts when they're trying to sell Thanksgiving turkeys, and a bunch of them have been culled. If you can get a whole turkey, you're going to sell a whole turkey because it's fucking Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, if you want one from Walmart, average price is $24 for a 16 to 24 pound. That's about $1.39 pound. Just saying.
You might not, maybe you'll look at something else. Why don't you go get bacon? That's only gone up 2.5 times. I rebuilt our military, including our nuclear capability and the creation of Space Force, first time in 79 years, which is a big deal, too.
It's the first time we've started Space Force in 79 years.
They surrendered our strength and turned Afghanistan into the greatest humiliation our country has ever had.
Again, I don't know where the fuck he says this. I don't know where he's even coming from. This embarrassment thing. It's the biggest insult he could come is humiliation and embarrassment because he fears it more than anything else.
And now we have a war between Russia and Ukraine with potentially hundreds of thousands of people dying. That would never have happened if I were president.
Yeah, true. Ukraine would have never had a shot. It would have been over in 6 days, like the Georgia war. We would have never backed them. We would have never gotten NATO up off its feet and on its way to protecting Ukraine as quickly. We wouldn't have had ongoing support. This fucker would have cut them off at the knees within a week and called for them to just give land to Russia. That's the part that never would have happened. The invasion was going to happen. Putin has said so. It's a matter of the timing of it. The goal was to do it in his second term so he doesn't have to run against it because he doesn't have to give a fuck, and then give it to Russia and go, it's just what happens over there. It's not our problem. And then move back to domestic issues.
It was not even thinkable.
Yes, it was thinkable, motherfucker. It started in 2014, and they'd done it to Chechnya, they'd done it to Georgia, and they were threatening to do it the entire fucking time.
One, the energy cost, the price per barrel was at $40. He can't have a war. He can't afford it. At $100, he can afford it.
It's not at $100. It's at $82, and their break-even price for the Saudis is $85.
The election was rigged.
$85. That's why the Saudis at this price range, when it's vacillating between $82 and $88 a barrel, that's why they cut production. The Saudis cut production because they need it to go up over 90, or they are selling oil at cost. And they're running out.
And now our country is being destroyed. I ran twice. I won twice. And did much better the second time than I did the first.
I agree. I totally agree. It was much better the second time because you lost and you're not the president. See that? We can agree on things.
Getting millions.
What's the markup on a barrel? It depends on what they can get for it. Right now, Russia is something in the order of, they have $65 a barrel at cost. Saudi Arabia is more expensive.
More votes in 2020.
So, cost to produce a barrel in Russia. Well, there you go. It's complicated because if its wells are more expensive to operate than others, they're zeroing it out. They're calling it $40 a barrel in Russia, and cost per barrel of Russia, Saudi. Let's see what they have in Saudi Arabia. $10 oil, and it's on OPEC oil production costs. OPEC managers generally face lower costs to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, correction, but rarely exceed $10 a barrel, though the study period median costs were $5.40. 95th percentile production was at $10 a barrel. By contrast, among producers outside the OPEC cartel, median cost is $9.70 a barrel, with the 90th percentile being $28 per barrel. This is just barreling it, not the production of it. OPEC share of global oil production, actual versus least cost production assumption. When was this? This is 2018. Okay, so that's different. They're saying $5 to $6, not quite, and transport, which is what gears it up. That's their cost overall of getting it. Getting it out of the ground is about $5 a barrel. Getting it into a barrel and transported, that's where it starts to get expensive. 2019. I'm having trouble finding 2022. Okay, but here you go. Cost of oil production by country. Oil price at the fiscal balance is $0 US dollars per barrel. Break-even oil price. Okay, so to break even for a barrel of oil, the UAE needs 69.2. Saudi Arabia, there it is, $85.10 to break even on oil per barrel. Algeria needs it at 111. Bahrain needs it at 128. Kazakhstan needs it at 140, which is why they're shifting to natural gas. Iran needs it to be $306 US per barrel to break even in 2021 prices. That's their fiscal break even. Here's the external break even price. This is the sales point of it. Algeria is at 82, Kazakhstan 81, Azerbaijan 69, Oman, Iraq, let's see, UAE, United Arab Emirates is 16.7, Iran is $21. Yeah, so this is just at which the current amount account balance is $0, right? US dollars per barrel. Here you go. Top 10 oil producers. This is Saudi Arabia across here in numbers of barrels. And this is the United States from 2018 to 2019. Value at 110,000. These are the exporters. This is we're exporting 110,000 in this. That's Nigeria. Oh, here's the U.S. 104,000 barrels a day, I guess, in October 2019. That's when they're going to. Benchmark crude oil prices. There you go. 2022. So basically, it's on average with 2013. Here's inflation technically making the dollar worth less in theory. 122 a barrel. Brent crude was, there we go, 114. Yeah. And then production of crude oil, including lease condensate. Look at that. Thousands of barrels per day. Look who's leading. The U.S. beating Russia by 1,000 barrels. Saudi Arabia, then Canada, then Iraq, then China. Although they use a lot more than they release, so none of that makes it to market. Iran, which is why if you open up a little bit of what they can do, this is 11,000. So it is 11 million barrels a day because it's 11,000, 1152, 500, 254,000. So we're still in the lead. We have been for years.
Money that I got in 2016
and he did say accidentally the price of a ballot. That was a Freudian slip.
Likewise, getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now
and still getting your ass handed to you by a guy who you said hung out in the basement.
In order to make our country successful and safe and glorious,
we might have to do it again.
I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay?
Very, very, very probably. Fuck you.
Very, very, very probably. Very, very, very probably.
What do you mean very, very, very probably? Why is my stream deck freaking out? What happened to you? There it is. Flipped out for a minute. I will very, very, very probably. Yeah. How many? Very up? Very probably. Very, very probably. Bullshit. Boil turkey bones to make excellent broth. This is true. Nearly impossible. What, can you imagine what an asshole you'd have to be to say very, very, very probably? Fuck you. Suckers! Watch out, because you can't cross that line. You don't get to keep that fucking money.
Oh, that's nice. Well, get ready. That's all I'm telling you. Very soon. Get ready. Get ready. The
Get ready for what? To hear?
radical Democrats are currently...
Dude, these fuckers are ready. They've been ready. You just dragging them around. Just...
trying to eliminate Iowa's first in the nation status in presidential elections. I told you that. Remember 4 years ago, I said, I'm not going to let it happen. Not going to let it. And I stopped it 3 times. I stopped it so much.
What do you mean you stopped it so much? It's not your fucking say.
It almost became a full-time job. They do want to take it away from you, that I can say. But the Iowa caucuses...
Again, why the fuck should we have it there? Why is Iowa, by the way, still with caucuses, for fuck's sake, and all deference to our lovely friends who live in Iowa, why the fuck should a caucus be the way we kick off? Bunch of people yelling in a room like it's the 1800s.
Are cherished and it's
fucking vote on paper and put it down. Jesus Christ.
a national tradition, and we are committed to keep it.
Yeah, still no Chuck Grassley. He's just standing over there freezing to death. But he can take it. He's a young guy. He looks 40.
Iowa first for many, many years to come. We're not moving to Kim, okay? It's not happening. I've been saying that now for 6 years, and so far I've been very successful, but there are a lot of people that want to move it. You know that. Not going to happen. But before we talk about 2024, we have to win a historic victory for Republicans on November 8th. Right here in Iowa, you have the chance to reelect one of the strongest, toughest, and most courageous.
Also, by the way, the fact that he has to go to Iowa to protect Chuck Grassley is fucked. Like, Biden's in Florida, DeSantis country, and Trump's in fucking Iowa trying to gin up support for Chuck Grassley?
Members of the United States Senate.
Does that say red wave to you? There's a red wave. Do you think anybody who's got a seat, especially as like Trumpy as Chuck Grassley has been, like, he is all Hunter Biden laptop all the fucking time.
And he is the one and only Chuck Grassley. Chuck has devoted his entire life to serving the people of Iowa, and he does.
Yes, he looks 40.
Brilliantly, and he's a tough guy, and he's respected by everybody.
No, I'm everybody's a big group. I would be in that group, and I do not respect Chuck Grassley. I think he's stunningly, blazingly full of shit.
So I remember when he was doing like an inquisition on a guy named James Comey. You remember that? And you know, in his
that's not a good thing. Inquisitions are bad.
His normal voice, he said, "Did you leak it?" And he was being nice. He wasn't even just the voice is very powerful.
Where the fuck are these people? They're leaving.
I got this scary voice, and Comey was sitting. "Did you leak it?"
Food's here. All right. What? Huh? All right. Well, I'll be right there. I'll cut it short tonight. I'm gonna go eat my food in a minute, but we'll finish this one beat.
He's got. Yes, I did. I said he just said he leaked it. You're the only one could have gotten him to say that, right? That was the beginning of a real mess. Let me tell you.
I feel like I learned a lot. I mean, that was no better description of a moment in history has been repeated. Not since 77 years ago, our forefathers brought forth upon this great nation. Right.
But while also visiting all 99 Iowa counties every single year, and he's done it every single year. I was in the Oval Office with him once, and right in the middle of a sentence, I was talking. He said, "I have to leave, sir." I said, "What? I'm in the middle of a sentence. I'm telling you about ethanol or something. I don't know what the hell I'm telling you."
I don't know what I'm talking
about. He said, "No, sir, I have to leave. I haven't missed a vote." How many years, Chuck? He said, "I haven't missed a vote in 27 years, sir."
Yes. Remind yourself, if you may, at this point, you'd be welcome to do it, that this fucker constantly talks about people who are lifelong politicians or have been in D.C. and always, are inside the Beltway people or whatever. And meanwhile, this motherfucker has been in office for 27 fucking years.
And I respect you a lot, but I'm out of here, Spicer. I said, "It's okay, Chuck. Come back later." He didn't miss that vote, did you? No, he hadn't missed a vote. Think of that.
No, he just wanted to piss. There was no vote. You're just boring. But nobody can tell you you're boring because you think of yourself as a Kim Jong-un type.
That in terms of...
I'm going to go, I'd love to stay here all day and piss my pants, but I got to go vote for something that was your idea that you never even thought of. I'll be back after this.
In terms of just something very special, I mean, who's like that? But he hadn't missed it, and he went out and he voted. And he also, very importantly, he votes the right way. That's even more important. As a farmer...
How do you know?
Himself, Chuck is a fierce defender of our farmers. He's critical, and I mean, he is so critical in defending your interests. When the farm bills are written, he's brutal during farm bill time.
Yeah. Once he puts on the kid gloves come off when Chuck Grassley is there they're writing farm bills. Ooh.
He'll call you 30 times a day until he gets it just perfect.
Why would he have to fucking call you 30 times a day to get the bill perfect if he goes to all 99 counties and I can't do it. Like, this just makes no fucking sense. I got to go eat. I love you guys. We'll finish this part. I'll leave it on pause if I feel like picking it up tomorrow. It's the same shit every time. I want to at least do the QAnon music thing at the end if I don't get a goddamn copyright strike because he's using this fucking cult music. But anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. Morning show and afternoon show. Hal Sparks morning show is on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I know some people were asking about how it works out. I go to the gym on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday are my days to do the morning show. When I launched it, that's how I was kind of pacing it out. And if I had to do it 5 days a week with the afternoon show, I would keel over. I also need some catch-up study time where I read the last couple of weeks. It's been climate papers, the affidavits, and the charging documents around both Trump, the cases against Trump, and the dude who attacked Paul Pelosi. So and then keeping up on what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on with the Chinese economy, what's going on with the Russian economy, what's going on with the European economy, like all that kind of stuff. I gotta study. I can't just dick around watching this moron. By the way, for the record, they're selling the Trump knife again on my way out. Like, this is so fucking embarrassing. Anyways, I adore you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow for the morning show. And then Philip Bittner's going to join us on Saturday for the second hour of that show. I'm also going to try and start doing guests on the morning show. And I believe we'll be starting next week. Fingers crossed, because the election's on Tuesday. I'd like to have somebody on Monday with me. And I'm on, if you're a Steph head, I'm on right after she finishes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you can watch Steph and then come right over to my show. That would be really fun. So it's just like a radio show like she does, except I don't have commercials and I can swear all I want. Fucking cool, right? Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I'm going to go eat because my stomach growling is going to be louder than my voice in just a few minutes. Okay. Have a good night. Thank you guys for the support, by the way. Thank you, Doug, for becoming a member, and Roland for subscribing. Thank you, Jovan. Thank you, Benny Loco. Respect my authority. Right. Christina, thank you so much. I will pass on your love and hugs to Chip. Marcia, Casey, thank you so much. I adore all of you. And thank you for subscribing, everybody, and become a member. Thanks, everybody, on Facebook for the stars. It really helps. I'm setting up a thing where we can start seeing the Stars Awards on the regular. That's one of my next additions to the stuff that I have all over the goddamn screen all the time. So remind everybody to subscribe today. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, have a good night.